non-stop round baling. Now, who would have thought it? In 2011, Ultima was introduced as the first non-stop baler wrapper, an award-winning innovation. In fact, Ultima is the world's first baler wrapper that does not stop for net wrapping and unloading. At the heart of this non-stop technology are the pre-compression chamber and perfectly sequenced functions. Ultima's semi-variable bale chamber forms bales of variable diameters from 1.25 meters to 1.5 meters. The high-density bales drop onto the wrapping table for film wrapping. After the wrapping cycle is completed, they are gently placed on the ground. Ultima delivers a 50% higher output than traditional round balers. Non-stop operation that churns out bale after bale. This can only be achieved by a machine that is refined down to the smallest detail. The camless easy flow pickup picks up every harm. The crop press roller ensures a continuous flow into the machine. The easy flow pickup with a helix of double tines picks up the crop at a 2,150mm width, measured to DIN standard. From the pickup, the material flows through the massive rotor cutter with its V-shaped tines that are plated with wide Hardex steel plates. The rotor cutter has two tasks. It cuts and pulls the crop through up to 26 knives. And it presses it into the pre-compression chamber. This chamber is formed by two conveyor belts. One is arranged at the top and one at the bottom. The bottom belt can vary its angle. Let's take a closer look inside the Ultima. Two belts feed the material into the empty bale chamber, where the Novo Grip elevator forms it into a high-density bale, compressing layer after layer. Once the baling cycle is completed, the net wrapping cycle begins, and this triggers the phase in which material is collected inside the pre-compression chamber. The belts reverse briefly to avoid incoming material being caught between the net layers that are currently applied to the finished bale. As the rotor keeps feeding crop into the space between the two belts, it compresses the material to a wedge. This process continues while net wrapping is in progress. So more and more material is being stuffed into the space between the belts, which form the pre-compression chamber. In high-volume crops, the bottom belt lowers to increase the capacity of this pre-compression chamber. Once the net wrapping cycle is completed, the bale chamber opens and the finished bale rolls onto the wrapping table. The next cycle, bale wrapping, starts. At the same time, more and more material is being compressed and wedged inside the pre-compression chamber, with this wedge acting as a wall. The bottom belt supports this compressing action by adjusting its angle. As the rear door closes, the pre-compression chamber begins feeding the material into the baling chamber. For this, the starter roller, which is arranged between the pre-compression chamber and the bale chamber, lowers and clears the way into the baling chamber. The belts feed the crop into the chamber. The belt and slat elevator starts rolling the crop, maintaining the preset density as it does so. As soon as the pre-compressed forage is transferred to the baling chamber, the starter roller and the bottom conveyor belt swing up. More crop is flowing into the baling chamber as the pickup continues collecting, and the conveyor belts continue feeding the material into the baling chamber, where a new bale is growing. At the same time, the wrapping cycle nears completion at the rear, as two arms orbit around the bale to wrap it in 750mm film. The KRONE Ultima, that churns out bale after bale, non-stop. Ultima. It could only be a KRONE. Carefully designed by KRONE engineers and manufactured at our main factory in Germany. Every detail of this machine is designed for high and lasting performance and durability. The onboard hydraulic system dependably supplies all hydraulics components. The heavy-duty drive chains withstand enormous loads. The floor lowers hydraulically for easy removal of blockages. All 26 knives sit in a drawer that pulls out to the side for convenient knife changes. Ultima offers storage space for 3 spare net rolls. Net replacement is easy, courtesy of the special lifting device. Ultima has capacity for 18 spare film rolls, which are stored in enclosed compartments on either side of the machine, where they are effectively protected from dust and rain. A powerful LED light kit supports the operator during those night shifts. Ultima excels in every application. Also, when tucked into hay and straw, Ultima churns out bale after bale. Making firm and high-density round bales takes time to roll them properly. Bale roll inside Ultima's bale chamber is controlled by TIM, the Tractor Implement Management System. This automatically adapts the tractor's ground speed to the baler's current performance, preventing any overfeeding. This way, the semi-variable bale chamber is given enough time to rotate the bale as it is required to produce highest densities. The Ultima is another shining example of KRONE's mastery of agricultural engineering. Its appeal stems from a complex combination of individual, innovative solutions. The ultimate result: non-stop round baling. Now, who would have thought it? KRONE, the power of green.